We are here down on the field at Tony Gwynn Stadium with Coach Mark Martinez. And Coach, it was always my intent to come down on this sunny day and see Aztecs baseball and preview the season, with the season opener coming on Friday. And of course, this afternoon, the entire community rocked by the news that Coach Gwynn is going through surgery again. What's been the reaction here around the field with the team coming together around this news?
Well, one thing is that our players knew a couple weeks ago that he was going to be having surgery. We just kind of kept it amongst the family, and so they've had plenty of time to kind of deal with whatever and prepare themselves for the day. It's rocked the program. It's hard. We've rallied around Coach. Coach has rallied around the players and the coaching staff. His message to the team is that we're going to attack it in a very positive way. We're not going to be negative about it. And true to form, he's been very positive, and that's kind of carried over the team. So, yeah, there's a little anxiousness, within the program today, but at the same time, I think the feeling is still like, hey, let's get it done and get him back here as soon as possible.
And certainly the fact that you guys already know it, and now here we come all running in one after another to ask you about it. So obviously it creates a second and a third and a fourth situation where you have to talk about this stuff. But the fact that this is the second time around for Coach and the program, in some way, does it help steel the guys to understand that, yes, you can get through it? It's happened once before.
Yeah, that, and I think also the mechanics of how everything happened. Last time it was in the fall. Basically, as you know, in college baseball, the fall is kind of like our spring training, and so Coach missed spring training that year, and it affected our program, and so it was kind of like trying to restart last year with a younger group, and the difference is this year is he's been here through our fall and up until yesterday. He's been here every single day, and so the system that he's, demanded in our program, the expectations that he demands in the program, are already in place. And so that's the difference. So the kids are, I think, prepared for what he wants. Now I think their whole plan is to make him proud and go out and execute what he wants. And so it's very exciting. At the same time, there's a lot of anxiety, too, because they're worried about it.
Right. And isn't that the nature of baseball, though, Coach Mark, that you can put your head down and work on hitting the ball off the tee and working on staying inside the ball and work on catching that ball in the second hop? I mean, baseball gives you the opportunity to kind of lose yourself within the craft.
Absolutely. And again, with the group that we have here, which I have to add is just a special group of young men that have done everything that we've asked them to do and go above and beyond. And so, yeah, they do lose themselves in the craft. They're down here all the time, even if we're not here, working on what they want to do. And so it is a special group. They're a very resilient group. And again, they definitely want to make Coach Gwynn, proud of the work that we've done up until this point, and again, what he demands.
Well, let's talk a little bit about this team. And Friday's going to be an exciting day as well, not only just that you take the wraps off in the 2012 season, but you're going to retire Steven Strasburg's number, and what a wonderful way bring him back, give him that opportunity to hear from the San Diego State fans once again. But this team that's on the field this year, as you said, unlike last year where you had so much youth and so much of a feeling of kind of just being thrown into the stew and the fire's hot. This year I see some returning faces, a returning middle infield, a starting rotation that at least, Swanson is there to anchor it. There's some pieces that definitely rocks that you can build upon.
We're very young, but the great news about that is those young kids that are in the core group of our, up the middle, so to speak, our catcher, our Friday night pitcher, our center fielder, our shortstop, our second baseman, played a lot of games for us last year, freshmen, so they are veterans. And so it's a very nice, they're young, but they are veterans, and so it's a very nice feeling to have that group. You have a freshman All-American in Cole Swanson, freshman All-American in Cody Smith in center field, and then two of the best defensive players, at short and at second, in the conference, and then Brad Hanel coming out of Rancho Bernardo, one of the best catchers, obviously on the West Coast. To kind of have that group feels very nice, and at the same time we're going to fill in on those other spots, freshman at first, freshman at third base. Jamel Torres, Chris Wilson, both have been here, it seems like, for 8 years. Our seniors, and they're going to anchor it. They bring a calming effect of the group, and they're going to, they're going to play a bunch for us, and so we're excited. We know we're young, but at the same time, it's kind of a young veteran team, and so hopefully that'll turn into some good results on the field.
And I have to ask you about what has been monumental news around campus all year, the conference realignment. And all the way, everyone's been like, oh, well, football this, but basketball that. And the guys around baseball went, whoa, but baseball.
Very excited.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to #1.
Yeah, very, very excited. You know, again, it's a great baseball conference. It makes sense for San Diego State to be in the Big West, just because, you know, Southern California, the recruiting base, the whole 9 yards, and plus the opportunity to get an at-large bid in a quote-unquote baseball BCS conference. You know, it gives us better opportunities to get in the postseason. Although it'll be a little harder to earn because the group that we're going in with, you know, the Fullertons and Long Beach and Irvines are very, very good.
But at the same time, I mean, that's the challenge for the program, right? I mean, you want to swing with the big boys, and that's part of what also works for you as well as against you, is the opportunity to play against the best.
Absolutely. And, you know, we play these guys on Tuesdays, you know, and I think at times we're not fully loaded on Tuesdays, and now we're going to be fully loaded on the weekends and go out prepared to, you know, compete against those guys. And again, have that opportunity to year in, year out, go to regional and have an opportunity to go to Omaha is very, very exciting for us.
All right, let me ask you about the guy at the back to close things out. Brian Crabb, I hear, is going to get the first chance to have the ball in the 9th inning. And, you know, here's a kid who's been a starter and obviously had the line drive. And then you used him in the back of the bullpen last year, and you can kind of see that maybe there's a little spark there. Is it something that's built over the fall?
Well, the one thing that Brian's done, is, number one, is just worked his tail off all fall, all winter, to prepare him for either a starting role or a closing role. And the truth of the matter is he's an experienced guy that has a lot of innings for us as a freshman, as a sophomore, and kind of Coach Gwynn's philosophy is build that pitching staff from the backwards forward. And when you have a guy like Brian Crabb, a junior, that throws in the mid-90s with a new pitch, a split finger that's a very filthy pitch, he fits into that role perfectly. He's a kid that can go out and win innings for us late in games, and he also bounces back because he's done just a phenomenal job of getting his body prepared to play the season.
Well, 20 games coming up on Channel 4 San Diego, a whole bunch more on GoAztecs.com. Coach, looking forward to the season's grind, and of course, all our thoughts and prayers go out to head coach Gwynn.
Thank you very much.